So let's talk about leaving retirement accounts to your special needs loved one in California. How do you do that? You might have heard, well, you can't do that because that'll bump them off their public benefits. Or maybe you've heard, no, you should leave it to the typical child instead because there's better tax benefits. Well, I'm going to clear up all of this and let you know especially what we're looking at after the Secure Act of 2020. Hi, this is Ellen Cookman. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we talk all about how to help special needs families set up their estate plans. Estate planning for special needs families is complex, and we try to make it as easy as possible for you. If that information is helpful for you, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you will be notified when new videos come out each week. My law firm has helped hundreds of families navigate the complex process of setting up estate plans. So I'm excited to share all of my knowledge and experience with you. So I've found that retirement accounts can make up a large part of my clients' estates. Sometimes people can save $2 or $3 million even in a pre-tax retirement account. That might be in an IRA, a 401k, a 403b. We're talking about all of those. So it's really a great savings tool, and you may have taken advantage of that. Good for you. Now here's the challenge. In 2020, everything changed. Congress, at the very, very end of 2019, passed something called the Secure Act. And this was really meant to benefit retired people. So there are some good things about the Secure Act. One thing is that the age that owners of retirement accounts must start taking required minimum distributions was pushed out a little bit from age 70 and a half to age 72. Another good thing was that you could continue to fund your IRA or your other pre-tax retirement accounts as long as you were working, even after your early 70s. So if you're somebody who really likes working and is going to work into your 80s, you can continue to fund them. But all of this needs to be paid for somehow. And what I've found the government doing recently is they're punishing the next generation. It's the next generation, it's the millennials, it's the Gen X's that are paying for these benefits for the baby boomers. And let me describe the main thing that happened that everybody got quite upset about. Okay, so what used to happen before 2020 is if your spouse died and you inherited an IRA, you can say, thank you, it becomes your IRA and you can stretch it out over your lifetime based on your life expectancy. So the younger you are, the more benefit you get because you only have to take the required minimum distributions or RMDs based on your life expectancy. All right. Same thing for a child. If your parent dies and you inherit the IRA, you can stretch out those benefits over your life expectancy. Okay, so we call them stretch out benefits. So that's really good, right? That's what Congress changed at the end of 2019. Congress limited the ability of most people to stretch out the IRA over their lifetime. What does that mean? Most people who inherit IRAs now have to pay all the income taxes and withdraw all the money out of the IRA within 10 years after the person died. So let's say somebody who's age 40 inherits an IRA. If their life expectancy is another 50 years, they were only having to make required minimum distributions on that amount. And it really pushed out the timing of when they had to make payments on the income taxes, which is great. They don't get to do that anymore. But there are some exceptions, and it's those exceptions that I want to talk about. And you can bet it has to do with disabled people because this is a YouTube channel where we talk about planning for your loved one with disabilities. So what Congress said is that you can still stretch out the benefits over your lifetime if you're an EDB, an eligible designated beneficiary. So there are some categories. A spouse still is an EDB, so they still get to stretch out those benefits over their lifetime. A minor child of the deceased person is also an eligible designated beneficiary until they become an adult. And interestingly enough, they recently set that at age 21, not age 18. So it's really 10 years after they turn 21 or age 31 that they have to withdraw all of the money. The clock starts at age 21, so that's a benefit. The one that I really want to focus on though is a disabled person. So if you name a disabled person or that disabled person's special needs trust, that trust or the person is an eligible designated beneficiary. So you can leave a retirement account to a special needs trust, they inherit it, and they can stretch it out over their lifetime. And guess what? The required minimum distributions stay in the special needs trust. They don't get distributed out straight to the child, so it doesn't interfere with their public benefits. So this is really win-win. So now it's become very beneficial to leave this to a special needs trust. There's also a few other categories. One of them is if the beneficiary of the retirement account is less than 10 years younger, say they're a sibling or a close friend, then they're still an eligible designated beneficiary because they're kind of in the same generation. And also for chronically ill people, that basically means they need help with at least 2 of their activities of daily living. They're also eligible designated beneficiaries. But you'll see in the next column, the 10-year rule applies basically to anyone else, to most neurotypical folks, children, grandchildren. They have to withdraw the money within 10 years. Now, I do want to point out there is something called a non-designated beneficiary, and this is if you leave money to charities or if you leave money to other irrevocable trusts, such as a Dynasty Trust, because I really like recommending Dynasty Trusts or lifetime trusts for my clients. And you'll see I have another YouTube video on this, so please check that out. But if you leave money to a Dynasty Trust, then they actually have to pay all the income taxes within 5 years. All right, so this is not ideal. However, there's some cost-benefit analysis that you should go through. Does it make more sense if you're leaving money from a retirement account to a typical child and they have to pay everything within 10 years, or you leave it to their Dynasty Trust, they have to pay it within 5 years, but they get all the protections of the Dynasty Trust. So if they endure a divorce, the money stays with them. If they go through a creditor's claim, the money stays with them, and it gets the estate tax benefit when it goes to their children. So some people do this cost-benefit analysis and they say, yeah, it makes sense for us to leave this to their lifetime trust or their Dynasty Trust. Even though they have to pay the taxes a little bit sooner, it still provides a lot of benefit. So these are some things to consider as you're thinking about leaving your retirement accounts to your disabled child or to your neurotypical child. But I do want to mention that now that rules have changed with retirement accounts, these are less and less attractive vehicles to leave to the next generation. As you're calculating in your mind what goes to one child versus another child, whether it goes from your revocable trust or whether it goes from a retirement account, keep in mind that with the pre-tax retirement accounts, you should calculate in that child's going to need to pay income tax on that, whereas they probably don't need to from other assets received in your revocable trust. So all of these things should be considered as you're looking at how to pass along your assets to the next generation. Now, I would like to point out that retirement accounts typically pass outside of your revocable trust, and they pass through beneficiary designation forms. So you usually keep your retirement account in your own name, and then you update the beneficiary designation form to name who you want, like we're talking about in this video. So you should work with your financial advisor or somebody at the entity where your retirement accounts are held, and they can help you update your beneficiary designation form. All right, so now you've learned a lot about retirement accounts and how to leave them to disabled children and to neurotypical children. I have a video on Dynasty Trusts, which we've discussed at some length in this video, that I think would be very helpful to you. So please go check out that video on Dynasty Trusts, and I'll see you over there.